Musicians on the battlefield. Modern people will probably be like, that's completely useless. Seriously, what can this thing do? This thing can't even do anything. Ugh. And it's difficult to play. These people are probably useless even today. No. Musicians on the battlefield were extremely important, almost as important as the flank companies for both sides. Music, just like grenadiers and light infantry, they were very important for the soldiers, the main body. The musicians on the battlefield, particularly three instruments, snare drum, fife, and bugle, and on parade bass drum, were very important to the battlefield. They relayed commands. For example, firing commands, charging commands, retreat commands, and duty commands. For example, reveille, drummer's call, tattoo, roast beef of Old England, and Polly Oliver. There are also different other commands that I will not go over, but probably will someday. One of them is retire, which in an 18th century context was disbanding. It's almost like a retreat, but not really. Yes, these and this were very important. Despite these only costing like $30 and this costing like $250 today. But back then, musicians were extremely important. And they're exactly that because of the many reasons I listed. They might be for keeping the men in step, for telling them to when to reload, but of course, or when an officer is not nearby their men, probably the officers see a musician and like, can you play retreat or a retreat or la retreat? And they'll play it and the troops will know what to do. And that's the thing, the uniforms. You can't wear them wearing plain continental blue or plain matter red. No, they have to be distinct. They have to be standing out. They have to be special. They have to be special. They have to wear special uniforms. For example, the U.S., the Continental Army, depending on the regiment, for example, New York Regiment and the Virginia State Garrison Regiment, wore red as their facings, which is the collars and buttons on the coat. So, using I forgot what it was called, but it was a book for military uniforms. Using that, they did, and it was a British book, for the British military, but since, you gotta do what you gotta do. But basically, they use that book to, distinguish musicians. Same with the British. For example, His Majesty's 10th Regiment of Foot wore yellow facings, yellow collars, yellow cuffs with red coats. So the musicians would wear yellow coats with, red facings. Common questions are like, oh, are you Spanish? Are you British? No. On the American side, for soldiers who wore red facings with their regiment, yes, the musicians may have red coats, but no. If you are actually smart, I'm not calling anybody dumb, but some people are sometimes, then you should know that a musician would wear inverted colors. And you can tell they're a musician because they don't have a firearm. They have sticks, fife, or bugle, or a drum. That's a key. Those two are key examples of how you can tell who is a musician and who is not. Some regiments, I know a few British ones, like I believe Royal Regiments, they have musicians wear the same colors as their infantrymen, but they would have like silver lining on the shoulders, just like how there's also wings for the British military specifically, since the American military, from what I've seen, did not have wings on their soldiers. So, the British military, for their special units, for example, light infantry, grenadiers, and musicians, would have wings. Not actual wings, obviously, but that went with their epaulet. The wings would show that they were special. They would have white, like, stripes, like a stripe going here, and 2 more stripes going here on both shoulders. This was the same for musicians, and yes, this was the same for musicians. Yes, they had wings. And that was another key detail to tell them apart for regiments who didn't use inverted colors. So, yes, we don't use the band today on the battlefield because we have radios, walkie-talkies, headphones, all of that to relay commands to soldiers. Back then, you didn't have walkie-talkies, you didn't have phones, you didn't have radios, you don't have satellites. Musicians, they were key to the battlefield. And probably one of the big reasons why we won the war. But that's probably going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, and yeah. See you later.